Perfect. Wonderful. Thanks for everyone participating. It is definitely warming up, but that's what summer is all about, right? So Viktor, thank you so much for driving the slides. I'm gonna take myself a video. I talk with my hands a lot and I distract myself. So I don't want to be the distraction here. So let me just remove my video and then let's get started. So yeah, welcome everyone. And thank you for joining us today. We know your time is really valuable. So we do hope you'll find this session to be immediately practical and that by the end of the next 45 minutes or so, you'll have a very clear picture of how organizations like yours can reduce observability costs by maybe 60 to 70%, while also actually improving visibility and your mean time to resolution. My name is Karin James. I'm a senior worldwide partner specialist for observability, and I'm joined by my co-host Kishore Vinjam, principal partner solution architect. And our role is to identify and enable the best partners in the market to help customers like you get more value from your monitoring and observability investments. And with us today, we have Viktor Chernov, who leads the cloud and DevOps competency practice at NIX United. Viktor's team has built NIX Bridge, which is a purpose-built AI-powered migration platform that helps automate third-party observability tool optimization. And just quickly, Kishore, if you wouldn't mind keeping an eye on the waiting room in case anyone is joining. Thank you. So, as a bit of housekeeping before we get started, yes, the session is being recorded, as I mentioned, and we will share the materials with you afterwards. Please do use the chat for questions throughout, and we'll address them live in the Q&A section at the very end, or even as we go throughout and see whatever else comes up. And if you'd like to explore proof of concept for your environment specifically, we'll share at the end also how you get started with the team. Next slide, please, Viktor.
Yeah, just a second. Yep.
So before I have the privilege to hand you over to Viktor, here's what we'll go through today. We've tried to structure it around the questions that we hear from most organizations evaluating the observability strategy. So we start off with why unified observability matters now. We'll look at some of the market forces that are driving this observability costs up and also the operational reality of running fragmented tooling. Then Viktor will introduce the team's credentials and approach, and you'll understand the NIX differentiator here, specifically their investment in automation and the zero-risk methodology. Viktor will also speak a bit about why Amazon CloudWatch is one of the tooling recommendations during the observability optimization engagements, and then take us through a live demo of NIX Bridge. They've also brought along 2 case studies to show the impact of successful optimizations for similar customers like yourself. We'll close with Q&A, and of course, I'll ask to complete the survey. I think, let me just double check the waiting room to make sure we have nobody waiting.
Karin,
you can't
looks
see.
like I may not have the. Yeah, looks like I may not have the permissions to see the wait list.
Okay. Let me just double check to make sure we are not leaving anyone behind. I don't see anyone, so hopefully everyone who is going to be here is here today. Brilliant.
Sounds good.
Okay. Next slide. Okay. I'm back with. Oh, next slide, please.
We're going to the next? Yeah, sure.
Yes, thank you. So let's get started with what is on every CFO's mind right now. Observability costs are growing faster than your infrastructure costs. Gartner is projecting that by 2027, observability will consume more than 15% of IT operations budgets. That's up from 3 to 7% today. And that's a 3 to 5x increase in the portion of your budget going to monitoring alone. And the April 2025 research found that 80% of enterprises without active observability cost controls will overspend by more than 50%. So what we hear from customers is that the spend isn't just growing, it's also growing unpredictably. Per host pricing, per GB ingestion charges, egress fees, retention surcharges, the bill grows in ways that are hard to forecast when you're scaling infrastructure. The typical enterprises we work with are spending around $2.5 to $4 million per year on third-party observability tooling. And the challenge isn't just that the total, it's that the cost is distributed across so many SKUs, contracts, teams, so that no single person has a clear picture of the total investment. And tool sprawl is the second force we are seeing across the market. So according to Logic Monitor's Observability and AI Outlook for 2026, 84% of enterprises are actively considering consolidating their observability tooling. More than half cite tool sprawl as their top operational challenge. The average enterprise we work with is running 3 to 5 observability tools simultaneously. And each one has its own dashboard, its own alerting syntax, its own data model. And during an incident, engineers aren't just resolving the problem. They're context switching between tools, trying to correlate signals that don't naturally talk to each other. And that fragmentation is a direct operational cost. Slower mean time to resolution, alert fatigue from overlapping, and sometimes even contradictory notifications, and engineering time spent maintaining integrations between tools rather than building features. So customers are not looking for another tool. They're looking for fewer tools that do more. Ideally, a platform that might be natively integrated with the infrastructure they're already running on. And then, of course, overarching it all, we have the AI data explosion as the accelerant that makes acting now, rather than in 12 months, strategically important. IDC's Futurescape projects that by 2027, AI agents use across the global 2000 will increase 10x, with token and API call loads rising 1000x. That's not a gradual scaling of existing telemetry. It's a step change in the volume of metrics, logs, and traces that your observability platform needs to ingest, needs to process, it needs to make sense of. And if the current tooling is already feeling costly and complex at today's volumes, we need to think about what happens when every business process has an AI agent generating machine scale observability data. Per host and per GB pricing models don't absorb that gracefully. They amplify every cost problem you already have. So the organizations we see moving fastest on consolidation are the ones who lean into this today. The window to rationalize your estate is before the AI wave hits, while it's a strategic decision made at a manageable scale. And waiting means consolidating under pressure and probably significantly higher data volumes with more complex dependencies. I won't go through the right-hand side of the slide in detail. I let the numbers speak for themselves. But these outcomes are what becomes possible when the decision is made to consolidate and optimize onto a unified platform. And of course, being an Amazonian, I do need to place a small plug here. These outcomes through optimization on Amazon CloudWatch, for example, are no longer aspirational, by the way. They're achievable today. CloudWatch has delivered significant launches over the past 6 to 9 months, particularly in the natural language querying, AI-powered anomaly detection, automated investigations, for example. And we have a few more exciting announcements coming this year. Watch this space and our news channels. And now I know what many of you are thinking. This sounds compelling, but the migration itself is the hard part. I've got hundreds of dashboards, thousands of alerts, custom queries. That's months of work, if not years. And that's exactly the problem that NIX Bridge was built to solve. And it's why we're here today and why we are excited to show you. And we're also going to show you that the migration barrier has fundamentally changed. Viktor is going to walk us through how this works in the demo. And with that said, I'm going to hand you over to Viktor to introduce NIX and show you what an automated migration actually looks like. Viktor, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Karin. So let's start. First of all, it is the pleasure to be here with you, with Karin, AWS, and Kishore to show up our tool and to present it NIX. The couple of words regarding to the NIX. NIX, it is our brand that we are on the market more than 30 years. We have a historical journey with AWS that is 18 years. We were on the early days with AWS when it was on the EC2 and S3 bucket, as you remember, so nothing much was there. We are continuously growing as the AWS did, and right now we are present across the globe. We are the company full outsource development company that provide our internal in-house more than 3,000 experts to resolve the business needs of our customers and the clients. Regarding to the AWS, we are at one partner tier. We are working and participate in a couple of awards that is highlighted on the slide. It is the well-architected cloud operational service, AI competency, and migration acceleration program, of course. So based on all this knowledge and our historical more than 50 successful immigration from the different perspective to the AWS and the clouds, we migrated from the on-prem, from the different clouds consolidation. We are the cloud native approach driver for our customer, and we provided the full circle of the development of the business for our customer. So just briefly regarding to the NIX, and we could jump into the what we can bring when we talk about the migration itself as the AWS partner. So yeah, migration, it is the tricky part that we are going to talk. But when we are working with the migration, our customers, and not only our customers, your customers, yourself, from the Datadog, Splunk, or whatever, the biggest question that the customer are coming, it is the price of ownership. It is how much I have to spend to business hours of my developer, consulting companies, third-party engineers, outsource, whatever, to migrate all of this into the AWS, set up the proper way. And here we stand shoulder to shoulder to the AWS, and we could provide the program that could cover in the foundings the migration itself. It is the different of them, and so you can see the proof of concept, the migration acceleration program, the BVR. So all of them bring the different numbers and amount of the coverage of migration itself, engineering hours, tools, whatever. So we started with the smallest one, 10%, then go to the migration acceleration program that could cover 20% of the ARR that is present on AWS, the CloudWatch itself. And we go to the BVR that is much bigger, much deeper, can be applicable to the up to 180K and so on. This program is our accelerator engine and boost to help resolve the question who is going to pay and how we're going to cover the migration price. We are going to cover this with AWS, and it will be the zero bill or almost zero bill for the customer to migrate. So if we are right now switch into the migration itself. So I prefer to think about the migration and their challenges into the allegory that you have to move between the apartments. I was in this situation 1 year ago, and for me, on the first look, it was pretty easy. Hey, I have to just pick it up my stuff from one apartment and move to another one. But then I understood that it is a lot of hidden part there, cost, time spent in, whatever. And the double billing, you have to pay the two checks. You have to, while the migration is going, you have to pay to the Datadog, you have to pay to the some services into the CloudWatch, or you have to pay for the Splunk or the Dynatrace if you migrate between them. So you have a lot of stuff in your apartment. When you sit the same in your room, everything is on their place. You know what is what you use in a daily perspective. But if you start to open your cabins, your wardrobes, you can find a lot of things that maybe you don't need on. The same with the observability. Observability is natively growing with the platform, with the business, with the infrastructure, if it is the AWS, and you have to understood and make the assessment what you really need, what you don't need, what you need to pay attention, or you can retain. The blind spot. So you don't know what is applicable because between the observability platform is almost no the happy path. You need to know the tricky of each of the platform. It is became into the next bullet point as the senior engineering. You need to have the team who know both of the tools. Not only knows, but became the gatekeeper in the future. So they know everything about the Datadog, they know everything about the Splunk, but they don't know about anything for the CloudWatch, and you have to invest into the teaching. So this is our main challenges. At least you know that you have to migrate. That is good. We can help you to know how to migrate and how to cover this headache of make the list of all of the things you need to migrate, how to do this into the proper way. Does you need this tool for or this metrics into the new place where you're going to migrate? So this is regarding to the key point, and of course we know that it is the advantages, disadvantages for between the different tools. Here we have the couple of them. APM always is the huge amount of the information, analytics, dashboards, and deep dives, and that is the key point as the same as the dashboards and the multi-cloud if we are talking about the observability. Not always it is the one service, it is the microservice architecture, it is the distributed between the different clouds and the dashboard flexibility. All of this came to the visibility of your system and how you can pretty fast resolve. Are all of them on the same level? No, some of them are better into the APM, some of them better into the dashboards, some of them are supporting more into the multi-clouds. I want to say that in a couple of previous years, the CloudWatch became really powered and engine with the new feature. We have the application signal that right now has all of the needed to make the deep dive into the APM dApps dashboard on the AWS became pretty flexible that you can have everything on the same part and did not just jump in between the back days, 2-3 enterprise tools. So I want to involve here Kishore as the principal solution architect from AWS who can talk more about strengths of the CloudWatch. Kishore.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Victor. Hey, so one thing I wanted to call out is like the amount of changes that's coming into CloudWatch for the past 12 months. Like say, if I have to showcase the list of constraints, it could have been much more than what you see in this slide deck 12 months ago, right? So especially so one thing it's worth calling out is as Victor mentioned, the application signals is the AWS Open Telemetry native APM, and X-ray tracing is now inside it. It's not as a separate tool. And the pace of enhancements over the last year has been quite significant, right? So especially with the transaction search, which lets you ingest 100% of spans as structured logs in CloudWatch for the complete visibility. You could index a smaller percentage of trace summaries to keep it cost effective, but you get the full span coverage without having to fully index it, right? And then the application map, which went GA last fall, which it auto discovers your services and groups them by their real relationships. So SREs can see dependencies and blast radius without having to hand draw things or make assumptions, right? And one other thing I wanted to call out, like last month, application signal started automatically detecting errors, performance anomalies, and deployment events. So a bad deploy surface on the map, like you could see it on the map on its phone, like without having additional stuff. And also, like, yeah, there were quite a few changes happened around the auto instrumentation early this year. So adding auto instrumented SLOs, runtime metrics for Java, Python, and .NET with no code changes, right? And then we also support cross-account monitoring from a single pane now. And and in addition, like, yeah, the same momentum, whatever we have seen on the traces part is happening on the log side as well, right? So on the query, like especially on the query side, like when you're looking at from comparing between two different products, CloudWatch Logs Insights now speaks like three different languages. It's native syntax, which is Log Insights QL, and then it also supports OpenSearch PPL and SQL. So you can now use the joins, subqueries, and also use familiar SQL functions directly on your logs. So on top of that, we have added a natural language query generation. So it is like, yeah, you type in with plain English, and it writes or generates the PPL or SQL and on top of it, the results can be summarized. Yeah.
Nice.
So, and as of this month, you can create alarms directly from the log query. So that's closing the loop from search to detection. Yeah. And one other bigger story here is CloudWatch is becoming genuinely open. Like say, the goal is to make the platform flexible, right? So it is now natively ingests open telemetrics over OTLP and lets you query them with PromQL. So the same hotel SDKs and collectors you point to the Prometheus or Grafana will work with CloudWatch out of the box, right? So on top of it, like, yeah, the Open Telemetry metrics now supports a high cardinality data store, which enables to handle these workloads for EKS and whatnot efficiently. Right, and yeah, some of your slides, Victor, you were talking about especially like maybe you are going to show that in the demo, the cost pricing for custom metrics has been one thing where CloudWatch tends to be expensive than other platforms, and we are taking a different approach with this open telemetry metrics, right? So basically, we moved from per metric cost to per GB ingested. So that is that is going to bring down the overall cost quite a bit.
That is the really powerful news. Thank you, Kishore.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
it can reduce the cost even more. So
yeah, and the same open telemetry metrics is for supporting container insights for EKS and SageMaker Insights, which was launched about 3 weeks ago. You out of the box, like, yeah, you get insights into the core utilization now, especially when you are handling with GPUs and whatnot. You have a higher visibility with the core utilization, like high number of high cardinality data is supported with this metrics, right? With that, but like, yeah, let me also be candid about where the gaps still are, right? Because they are fair, like what you called out here. So continuous code profiling, dashboard flexibility, and like the true multi-cloud hybrid breadth are the areas where third-party tools still lead today, and that's a reasonable reason to stay hybrid if your estate spans across clouds, right? But look at this trajectory, right? So full sampling tracing, or be it the auto-generated service maps, automatic anomaly detection, the open telemetry metrics, and querying with PromQL, the natural language log queries, most of that shipped in the last 12 months, right? Like CloudWatch is closing the gap very fast. Yeah. So watch this space. We got some exciting launches coming up in the next couple of months.
Nice. What I can say, hold your seats. You need to be really keep an eye. The CloudWatch right now
Absolutely.
has the really powerful engine. So we're going to the next slide, Kishore. You want to add something more regarding to the CloudWatch or some big announce in the future?
I think, yeah, this is pretty good. Like, watch out the space.
Nice.
We can do whatever the constraints identified here is going to get shorter and shorter.
Nice. Okay. Thank you, Kishore. Thank you you opened the small window to the big CloudWatch announcement and to the new feature that's upcoming. A couple of them really powerful. We need to keep an eye on them. So, just briefly regarding to NIX Bridge, keep in mind everything what we have mentioned before, our 30 years experience and our understanding about the hidden cost and the importance of the first assessment from where we are going to migrate and how convertible it is into the new feature. We built our tool, the NIX Bridge. It holds on a couple of principles. It is AI powered. We do the assessment first. We did not migrate until validate everything. And we really break down the severities of needed, the seniorities, not severity, seniorities of the engineers to be migrated. Our tool is not the fully automated tool to migrate everything. It is the artificial hand to our CloudWatch consultant, cloud architect who can, in a more faster way, more close way to your system, help you to migrate with. So let's switch to the real demo. Let's see what the NIX Bridge is and how does it work. So everything is started, as I mentioned, the NIX Bridge. It is the tool that is hosted on our side, hosted totally on AWS. It's powered by the Bedrock and Claude to make the suggestion. Let me log in into my demo user and I briefly want to show up you what the capabilities of the NIX Bridge are. So I'm logging as the reviewer, and it is represented our cloud architect engineer who can jump in with you, with your customer on the call and briefly review what you have right now, how much it can cost for you to be migrated to the CloudWatch, and provide you the first inventory of your things. So we have the predefined Datadog. On a call or before the call, if you share with us the credentials, the access token, we could onboard onboard the user. Let's use the Splunk. Right now we have so let's let's create. So you can see here that we're supported right now Datadog, Splunk, and Splunk Cloud, Splunk Enterprise, Splunk Cloud. Nearby 1 month or in a shorter iteration, we are going to represent the Dynatrace also to be analyzed with. This customer are going to add as the Splunk Cloud. How to do this is pretty easy for you, for your customer, for your engineering leads, for our cloud. So we choose the region. In our case, it is the EU1. We are going into our Splunk Observability Cloud and going in and find the access token. You can have already some, or you can create it on fly. Just a click on access token, copy it, share with us, or on a call, we can do this together with you. We posted the access token. Our tool is going to verify the pretty fast access token. Does it valid or no? Does it has any of requirement permission, and we could open the customer. As you can see right now, no assessment yet done. It's just a pretty new customer. You can verify here the deep dive into your observability tool. We start with the 90 days and we run the assessment. It can take a bit time. It is depend on the system, what we have there and how deep your archive is, if we talk about the logs or metrics or traces, because the indexes can have archives on the logs. I apologize. So, and here in a pretty fast, rapid mode, we could understand what you have into the Splunk as the observability. The important part here to highlight it is that by Scratch, our tool is separated the noise and the real deal. So we are talking about some provider default tools, provider default metrics, dashboards, alerts that can be configured, and other noises that usually are present into the Datadog or Splunk. Of course, we are going to not forget about them. We could come back to these metrics into when we do the deep dive and go one by one with your engineering leads, CTO, or whoever is going to be on the assessment on the real life or the deep dive. We have the number of the metrics that and assets that we are working on the first look, and we identified that our Splunk right now has 667. You can imagine that all of this information you need to collect manually. You need to go to the Splunk UI and try to identify what is going on. More by default, our tool is verifying your billing monthly and provided the comparative tools price forecasting price regarding to the how much it can be cost on AWS and how much you can estimatedly saved. You can go into the deep analysis. It is the monthly how we are paying. It is separated by the groups. You can see here the custom metrics that, as the Kishore mentioned right now, is a bit higher price than this plan can be represented. But stay tuned, keep an eye on the CloudWatch updates, and maybe in a couple of weeks, it's going to be reduced even more. Right now, with the existing metrics and what we have on this plan, the CloudWatch by default is cheaper by the 55%, and we did not even start to optimize yet. So let's come back to the assessment. What we have in the assessment as the more, we have the wave-based groups. We don't want to pick it up everything and migrate everything into the observability into CloudWatch, increase the cost of your cloud, spend some months into the implementation, this migration, implementation of the metrics, dashboard, and everything. We design our own NIX agent that could assess what you have by this course and provide this verification. So it is the active, what we can migrate it right now. It is grouped all of the active things that we do have right now. The Splunk right now, it is the, for example, traces. It is how we understood that it is usage. Yep, we understood that everything need to be involved into the process of the observability. The more it is visibility or notification. For example, we identify that here we have what we have here, like this our service that is 10 alerts attached to. So it was executed 10 times, more or less. The service is workable, and we need to keep an eye on this. The same with the metrics. We have here that the metrics are involved in something, for example, the one dashboard, into the alerts, and so on and so forth. We have here the link to the observability tool. You don't need to go into the deep dive, try to understand and make the knowledge between the different tools. You can directly from, and our expert can directly from our portal log in into your tool. For example, it is the dashboard. Let's check something. We have the priority dashboard, priority score for the dashboard, because across of different tools, the different metrics, we developed our own. Let's open this one. I don't know what it is even. So we have some dashboard that we could discuss with you on a live session and understood, do we need to migrate this or not? We have here the next steps. It is going to the full plan where we could identify does this particular dashboard could be migrated by widgets into the AWS. It could be the couple of scenarios here. First scenario is it is the native migrated, it is the manual migrated, or impossible to be migrated. So each of them can be generated. The plan, we came back to this when we go to the Datadog, but let's do something. I don't know what this one is. Let's try to generate the plan. Let's see. We can see here what the Splunk query is, what is return, and our tool powered by Claude is going to be comparative check what we need to do, and could we even migrate to the CloudWatch. So our tool identified that it is manual implementation. Here is reason, significant flow summary, what we need to do, and how it need to be migrated. So migration steps, what we need to do, it is the helpful and up to be for the ops guys who is going to work with them. We provide the full level plan, and by the dashboard, by the widgets, they could understand how to migrate it. And so when we migrate and when we mark like, yeah, we are okay with this plan, it's we approve the plan, it's marked like the manual migration and it could not be executed because it is not metrics or some native way on the CloudWatch to be migrated. We need to execute the plan. We could go one by one, generate the plan for all of them, and then migrate the dashboard when all of the issues going to be resolved. So we could rerun the scan, generate the plan for our tool, and if the CloudWatch already, for example, CloudWatch agent is installed, it is going to pick it up this. So let's check the same for the, oh my gosh, I just double clicked to the Splunk, my bad. Let's go to the Datadog. One thing that I forgot, you need to provide the two type of the credentials. First of all, it is from where the two we are going to migrate, and to the AWS target credentials where we are going to be migrated. Pretty easily, we are working through the access key and the secret key. All the security control and the identity access management is on your ops cloud side. You provide us the needed access only to the CloudWatch for this tool, and we are going to work with your team closely. So it is not fully automated. One more time, we are powered our cloud engineer with the artificial hand like the NIX Bridge. The same for the Datadog. We have here the snapshot that has been created the couple of hours before. We have a bit less noises. We have more into the customer build. We also have the same prediction on the CloudWatch cost reduction. The function is pretty same. We going into the deep dive, and here we have the logs that was missed on the cloud Splunk Observability Cloud. We have some additional. But even on a high level, we could identify, is it beneficial for you and for your customer to be migrated? The same waves, but situation with this plan could be different. We have a huge amount into the unused resource, and we could identify and go just like summarizing information, why and what is there. We could identify the dashboards. For example, we go here and we have the dashboard with scores, all of them nearby 5 right now, because we have widgets there and they were viewed into the time period that I have chosen in 30 or 90 days. We can easily with you click into the dashboard, and it is going to route me into this particular dashboard to verify what is going on there. Let's find some dashboard that is relative to that can have some native AWS tool, and I'm going to compute service. Yeah, let's go here. So we have the next step. The next step, in this particular case, we identify that, hey, we need to verify with the owner what the dashboard is and how it is to be migrated. That can be done on a live session. Also, something is already marked to be migrated because it is the demo user, my bad. But in any case, yeah, let's choose another one. I don't like this because it is already marked. Back to all of them. Where is it? Go here. Use some of the dashboard of the EC2 RDS. I'm sure I did not touch it yet. Let's go. So we have here the dashboard that is present on the Datadog, and we have here the widget that is there. So what we can do, we can, the same as on the Splunk, we generate the plan, for example, for the CPU compute load. This is the original Datadog query that has been used. I believe it has been present on AWS. Yeah, it is the native CloudWatch migration. So we don't need to do, to be honest, a lot. We just approve the plan. We could also edit plan if we want, but let's not do this. Like free storage disk space. That's also generated. I just want to show you that we also can migrate widgets and the dashboards automatically if it is already well prepared and well done into the metrics themselves, or the possibility on the CloudWatch. Is it? Yeah, it is also native CloudWatch migration. We just mark it. And what we have here, we have right now, we marked this as the native migration. We want to migrate them. We just finalize and migrate. It is processing. Migration is completed, and we have here also integrated with the CloudWatch dashboard, because we are previously provided access and secret key. We could generate the link where it is going to be migrated. You can open by here or returning into the dashboard, and right now we have the marked that the 2 of the widget has been migrated for this particular dashboard. Let's go to the CloudWatch. Let's see that is there. Yep, we have the RDS CPU utilization and RDS free storage. We can came back here into the RDS database engine. This one, I believe.
Viktor, quick time
yep.
check.
Quick time check. Okay, I just want to show up that
15
this
minutes.
dashboard.
You have
nice.
15.
Nice, nice. I will not spend a lot of time. Let me find this this one. Let's open. Yeah. So this dashboard is present here, and we reduce CPU utilization. What is important here, when we are migrating, we analyze where the position of the widget are present on your Datadog or the Splunk dashboards. It is really important when we talk about the education of the engineering team. They are the engineers. We are used to work with something, and we don't want to change the behavior that we developed before, and we want to see the same or at least close patterns where it was before. So we can identify here CPU compute load and the free storage disk on this position, and when we are migrated, we have the same position of the widgets. So they, at least when the engineer is open our dashboard, he will identify that, hey, I have the same widgets. I have the same similar graph. I don't need to build a new behavior that's also speed up the education. Because if we talk about the educatable process to our engineering team, if you reduce to them some visualization part, they need to learn something new or the new position, that is better. This is, I think, briefly regarding to the tool. If I came back to the assessment, it is information regarding all of them. You can go to the logs, you can go to the different groups with your engineering team, and they are already has amount of the information, what the indexes these logs are, and so. Our tool are not fully, let me, in this case while I'm talking, came back to the presentation. Our tool not only built the visual part integration with the API, we also built the agent that could help to make the stream migration between Datadog, Splunk, and the CloudWatch. If we talk about the logs, observability, dashboard, metrics, traces, it is important to be sure that the upcoming information are present and they are consistent with our existing Datadog or the Splunk. We built our own agent that install in a parallel with Datadog or Splunk and start to collect all of the needed metrics that is missed and pushed into the CloudWatch. So we have implemented this approach for 2 of our customers right now. The first use case is going, the two cases are from the Datadog to the CloudWatch. The first one, we already jump in when the migration was estimated up to the 8 months, and we reduce the migration itself, and this migration was covered by the MAP program. So our customers spent zero money to be migrated, and we reduced the cost almost more than in half just to migrate them. And we done this in a 2 times faster than previous guys has been estimated with our tool. So for customer, the benefits, he start to pay less for the observability tool, almost in half, and he did not pay penny for the migration itself. And it was done much faster, in a 50% faster than he was promised before. The second case, it is for the one of our enterprise. The outcomes here more or less the same. We did not jump in here when already estimation was provided. We were fresh estimated and start work with NIX Bridge, but after the migration, our engineers estimated how much it could take if we do this into the manual old-fashioned way. So 50% cost, 50% migration cost into the time cut. We bring the annual saving in a 240K. This particular case was coverage into the EBR program. So also our customer did not pay for the migration itself. And when we talk the big enterprise, you can see here the numbers. It was 40K per month that the customer spent. We reduce it with the CloudWatch. And for this particular customer, it was important to have the cloud native approach and the one breaking glass point of all his platforms. So they were pretty consistent about where they're going to share the logs, why do you need to push into the Datadogs, and the compliance became more and more tough on them. So we help and migrate everything to the CloudWatch in a pretty fast and one middle engineer that is much more cheaper. If we did this into the old-fashioned manual way, I believe there was 5 guys at least to migrate all this. So what we provide for you. First of all, on the next slide, you could identify the registration QR codes when you could register the deep dive into the NIX with the sales guy, and of course requested the NIX Bridge live session with your observability tool. What we're going to provide with you. First of all, it is a jump in, add you as the customer, as you can see, make the high-level analytics regarding your platform. So into the wave base, you are going to provide the first block, and of course the cost included. We are not going to make the deep dive or something because it is only 30 minutes call. But under the hood, you are going to be onboarded. You are going to see how much you are going to reduce the cost, what you need to be migrated, and how your observability tool is ready to be migrated with CloudWatch. Yeah, here is our 2 QR codes, book a call and the bridge overview, make the deep dive. I don't know, is it the last slide or not? A second, let me switch. Okay, so I'm still here for the couple of, for the 1 minute that you can make the screenshots, make the photo, whatever you want to do with or scan it them right now and book the call.
Yeah.
So, thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
for
Viktor,
sure.
we will share the slides as well so people can then
Nice.
have the QR codes.
So yeah, that is all what we want to share regarding to the NIX Bridge and how we could help you to be migrated to the CloudWatch and be consolidated, reduce the cost, and bring more value to your team. Thank you for joining. Right now, it is the live question and answer session. If you're okay, if you have something in the chat, or Karin, Kishore, jump in.
Nothing in chat. Is anyone brave enough to come off mute and ask their question if there is any, or even just share if you think this will be of value. I know for some it's already quite late in the day, so
yeah.
I can accept that, but by all means, everyone, if you have any questions following the call, please reach out. As I said, we'll share the material with you and how to get in touch with NIX. And yeah, we hope this was helpful and meaningful information. As Kishore mentioned, watch this space around Amazon CloudWatch. It's going to be quite a step change for where we are today. So we are quite excited about this. And this is, I think, also why partners like Viktor are leaning in to prepare us for what is to come. So exciting times ahead. No questions. It was so good, Viktor, that there is no questions.
Hope so. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure to talk. Thank you, AWS, and Karin, Kishore to hosted us. Thank you.
Of course. All right. Thank you. I'm going to close the
Thanks,
call.
everyone.
Thank you.
And yeah,
Bye-bye.
we'll be in touch.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you.